Good evening. How are you? This is Marta Jensen. Very excited to be with you. This is my first program in English. I don't know how many we're gonna be doing in English, but I'm really happy to have my guest today. But first of all, let me tell you that I welcome everyone and single of people that is listening to me in English or bilingual in the United States, in Mexico, in Canada, or any other place in the world. Today we are going to talk about human trafficking and modern slave. Yes, it is a very tough issue, but it's a reality. And everything normally starts with the type of home that we provide to our children if we want to focus in that this problem about trafficking or about human trafficking or about modern labor is more pertaining to teens or young people. This is why I said that. And you must remember, that is my opinion. I know you will have a lot of opinions about it, but it is important that you know the facts. And for that, I invited an organization called um, Chase of Hope. It's a beautiful organization here in the Bay Area, in the San Joaquin County. Just so you know, if you are out of the California or you don't know where we are in Northern California, close to San Francisco, but to the east. And this is the organization that is today with me. Her name is Jessica Alfaro. She is the director of the transitional program. Welcome, Erica. How are you?
Hello.
Hi, how
Hi,
are you?
Martha. Thank you for having me today.
No, thank you so much for being with me, and thank you for allowing me to have you tomorrow in Spanish. And I really appreciate your time. Um, well, I know you have a presentation, but first of all, tell me what is Hope of Chase of
Chest
Hope.
of Hope.
Mhm.
Chest of Hope's a nonprofit organization. We're here located in Tracy, California. And we help victims and survivors of domestic violence and human trafficking.
Okay.
We,
So people, I never heard, I do remember a few months ago, maybe a year, I don't know, uh, since I haven't gone to any place in the last 5 months. Um, I did see a flyer saying stop human trafficking. And I thought it was a movie or something like that, but I never came to my mind about what all the complexity of the situation. So I'm very happy that we will be able to give that to people, just to learn if you are interested, but also to learn if you have kids, if you have people that you love, people, or maybe you are in some kind of situation that will allow you to learn a little bit more and be able to get out of that. Okay, so what are the services that you provide?
okay, let me open up the presentation for you. Okay. Okay, so our vision, Chest of Hope's vision, is transforming lives and creating hope. And the services that we provide, we have individual and group counseling. We have a transitional housing program, which is a 9 to 12-month program for victims of domestic violence or human trafficking. And this program helps them get back on their feet. For example, if you're homeless because of the situation and you need a place to kind of reconnect and get your life back together, what we do is we guide them with the resources, different classes, such as financial empowerment, life skills, career development, self-care, and then the idea is for them to save so that they can get their own home in the end.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
We also
The
have
most important part of the transitional housing program, to me, is that the ability that they have to leave the situation, be safe, the most important one. Your predator will not know where you are. You are protected, and in the meantime, you have group sessions that will allow you to reconnect, as Jessica says, but to understand the value that you have and understand that you deserve better. And then they will gonna give you the tools as much as they are able to start getting your path to independence and to not depend of any of these kind of services that you are obligated to do to your predator. So that is the most important to me. Even if you don't have the groups and everything, just to have a place to be safe and to be able to reconnect to you, to your own being, that will be worth if you try to call them, or if you call them and try to get out of that situation. Restraining orders, of course, is very important.
Yes, definitely. Everything, all our services are confidential. Like you said, the location of our homes are confidential. So everyone's in a safe place, like you mentioned.
Yes.
We do help with restraining orders, or we have educational trainings. We work with teens. We have a teen dating violence program. And then we also help with safety plans. That's for someone, for example, who's still in the situation, maybe at home with their abusive partner, and they don't know how to get out. They don't know what to do. So we kind of guide them through, and we make a plan, a safety plan for them.
Okay, let me just rephrase here, because so I can understand, and people can understand. I met a person, one of my acquaintance was in an abusive situation by her husband. It wasn't physical, it was verbal, which is worst in my belief, because you don't see the bruises.
Yes.
Right? The bruises are inside, and that takes time to click. But also he was involved in drugs, and that is what when she decided that she needed to get out of that situation because he has a baby. And what happened is the safety plan allow you to prepare for the escape.
Right.
Meaning, my friend, if I can call it friend, which I love because was a beautiful woman, and he says was because after that we lost contact. But she needed to prepare food and place it in a safe area that he cannot see, food for about 1 or 2 days. He couldn't see that. She also prepared a bag with clothes, and it was told that this clothes has to be put in a way that he doesn't detect that she was leaving. In this case, was a garbage bag, she wanted to go to the laundry and wash the clothes. So that is the safety plan that they will gonna allow you to prepare so you can live safely. So this is very important to know. The teen dating violence, I have no idea what it's all about. Can you tell me, please?
Sure. Teen dating violence. It's about healthy relationships, about setting boundaries. It's also about online safety, dating in general. What are the what are things to look out for? What can, what is abuse? Because a lot of teens are not, they don't know that they're in a controlling situation. So that's what we help them. We show them the different, what
Okay.
it's all about and prepare them.
You are telling me that in a lot of dating situations, they force the partner to have sexual acts.
It's not only about sexual acts. That happens a lot as well, but it's just in general. Having control over another person is not a healthy relationship. So sometimes, a lot of times, they think, for example, checking someone's cell phone. Oh, show me your cell phone, or they, you can't put a password because I need to know, or I need to know where you're at all times. Do a video call. I don't believe you. Just different things
Oh, okay.
that are to look out for and to.
Got it. Okay. Okay. And of course, you have a line that we already share, and we are going to share another one.
Yes, the helpline. So now human trafficking. Human trafficking is also known as modern day slavery, and there's different types of human trafficking. It can be labor or commercial sex. So this happens when a person buys, trades, or sells a person for a sexual act. And commercial sex is also classified as any sex acts performed in exchange for anything. So it could be for money or a favor or any kind of benefit.
But I just to make a differentiation, if that is something that we can do here, is the commercial sex, and it is not prostitution, because prostitution is someone that is okay with that, or that is prostitution when someone is forced to do
Both.
this.
Prostitution has both sides to it. Some people are forced to be prostitutes and work on the streets for their, there's different ways to say it, pimp or whatever. And others choose to live that life. But most of the time, it's no one chooses to live that way. No one chooses to work.
You're right. Okay.
So modern day slavery. 40.3 million people are in modern day slavery. 24.9 million in forced labor and 15.4 million in forced marriage. 5.4 victims of modern slavery for every 1,000 people in the world. And 1 in 4 victims of modern slavery are children.
Let me just stop you a little bit here. Forced labor, we talk about people that are forced to work in terrible environment, or for no wages, or limited wages, or they are being treated inhumanely.
Exactly.
Okay. Forced marriage, what is that? Is to force a person to marry to another person because of money, or because of
Not only, sometimes there's arranged marriages. Sometimes these women are sold to people and forced to be married with them. So there's a lot of different ways that they can be in a relationship or married to someone by force. They didn't choose to marry that person.
It's interesting that is considered, this, when in countries is acceptable.
Yeah.
In cultures is acceptable that the father need to find the son or the daughter, their husband or wife.
And it's something that we don't really hear about because it doesn't really happen maybe in the United States as much, but it does. We think it doesn't, and it does.
Definitely, definitely. Okay.
So forced labor, a little bit more about that, is 24.9 million people trapped in forced labor. 16 million people are exploited in the private sector, and 4.8 million persons are enforced in sexual exploitation. 4 million people in forced labor are imposed by state authorities. And 99% of the victims in commercial sex are in commercial sex industry, while 58% are in other sectors. So human smuggling and human trafficking are different crimes. Human smuggling is the illegal movement of someone across a border, and human trafficking is the illegal exploitation of a person. So just to describe that a little bit, it's it can happen both ways, but sometimes, you know, they are trafficked in a certain area, or they're taken across to a different state, a different country to be trafficked over there.
Okay.
And then it can happen to everyone, no matter what race, age, or gender. It can happen to anyone.
And just so to emphasize, not to emphasize, but to make this clear, that it's not like, okay, well, because somebody doesn't have the money, is forced to do that. No, it is unbelievable how many are in the top level of, cultures, organizations, government. And right now, we talk about it, Jessica, about the case of Epstein, that is a person that is being said that many people in the high ranks of government and or other industries are involved. And it's unbelievable. It's an international, and it's just amazing that actually human trafficking is bigger problem than drugs.
It's a lot larger industry, definitely. Now, here are some activities that include in human trafficking. Trafficking for sexual purposes, prostitution, sex tourism, mail order bride trade, and early marriage, pornography, stripping, and performing in sexual venues such as peep shows or clubs. Examples of commercial sex: prostitution, webcam sexual services, survival sex, and gang-based prostitution.
Can you expand a little bit in the survival sex? Because
definitely, survival sex. Well, these people or women who are trapped in this life, they have no choice. To be able to survive, they have to have sex with different people. A lot of times, it can be with the same person or in the street, like working as a prostitute. So just to survive, they owe. A lot of times we'll see later on the different steps that sometimes happens when they capture the victims. And when this happens, they then owe that person. So they have to work off what they gave them or work.
okay. Okay. Thank you for the explanation.
Now I'm going to share a video.
Okay.
We'll see if this opens up right away.
There are at least 27 million slaves in this world today. 27 million. It's the fastest growing organized crime in the world right now. It is even ahead of drugs. And human trafficking does not do justice to the kind of brutal, dehumanizing things that slavery brings with it. And we don't see it. It's a hidden crime.
So I felt really alone in the world. I felt like I didn't have anybody at all.
Would always say to me, like, you belong to me, you're mine, you're never going anywhere.
This is part of what we call modern day slavery. And slavery exists. It exists now. In the 21st century, why are we allowing slavery to exist?
Wow, eso no lo había visto, sorry, that, I need to switch. Between 13 and 14 years old is when they are more at risk.
Yes.
Or they enter that. Well, yeah, it's the same.
Both things. They're more at risk of entering at that age. That's definitely the prime age. And then being in that life, they say approximately 7 years. A person won't get out for 7 years at least.
Wow. Okay.
So here are some of the red flags of commercial sex. This is something, for example, homelessness, it says, or runaway. A lot of children that run away can easily fall, or foster youth or anything are prime targets. Something to look out for example, with your children, if you see that they have excessive amount of cash or multiple cell phones, they're starting to receive expensive items, could be clothing, electronics, or just gifts. So those are things to look out for.
Okay.
And then here we have what a predator does.
I love this one because and when we were talking, you and I told you that this is the same path that the predator will use for domestic violence, and he used for sexual abuse on the child. So, and that is why it's very important, this program, and very important this information that we are sharing, because as a parent, we have the responsibility to, if we bring kids to the world, we have the responsibility to protect them until they are at the age that they can take care of themselves. And it is not an excuse, in my opinion, that you bring a child into the world and you don't do the job that we ask for it. So the majority of the situations is in a child that doesn't have the support of their parents, of their immediate relatives. So go ahead, Jessica.
Okay, so the first one, the hunt begins. Targeting a victim, human traffickers use any tools available to them to make a connection to the potential victim, such as social media, video games, or chat rooms. Scouting the victim. These are ideal characteristics. So the traffickers often search for specific characteristics that make a victim the most vulnerable. This includes emotional neediness, low self-confidence, and economic stress.
Okay, so let me just stop you a little bit. Now that I am presenting this program, I receive a lot of invitations in Facebook to accept them as a friends. And of course, I accept people as a friend. And all of a sudden I have a person, male, or her account is a male account. And it says, "Hi, Preciosa, how are you?" I delete that person right away. Nobody has the right, in my opinion, to tell me Preciosa. Only my husband. So I delete that person. The other day, I talked to, no, I don't talk to anybody in Facebook. I don't even have time to do that. But one person, I accept many people because I have like 70 invitations per day to join them as their friend. And I'm very selective, and I accept what I wanted. So this lady, or maybe is a male, this lady sent me a text, a messenger saying, "How are you? I just want to say hi." I don't respond many of those because if I respond to 70 highs, but I don't have time. So, but 10 minutes a day, I just respond some, just to be cautious. And I said, "Hi, I'm glad that you are calling me from that country. It's from another country." Or that is the pretension that is from another country. And then the person comes to me and says, "Well, I am representing a nutritional company, and I would like if you would like to have me whatever in nutrition." "No, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you." And all of a sudden, the next day, she sent me a message saying, "Can I ask you questions? They will be very personal questions." I deleted that account. So that is the type of conversation that you will have with a predator. A person that connects you, a person that say hi, a person that it is no offensive. But if I will be vulnerable, if I don't have, maybe if I need that somebody tells me that I'm pretty, then I will follow that person because he or she, because you don't know if it's the account correctly, is making me feel that I'm pretty. Then I'm being loved by someone, but I'm being loved because apparently I don't have around me people that makes me feel that way. If I respond to that one, I'm sure if I will, then, "Oh, may I ask you questions, very private questions?" Well, if I am vulnerable, I will say yes. Because if I don't have intimacy around me that allow me to be freely me, then I will gonna look for someone who apparently is not danger because it's in a computer that I can turn off, but it's more dangerous than you cannot believe how dangerous it is, because they know exactly what to look in a victim, and they know exactly how to get that button to push, and that you will respond if you give them one little chance. So scouting a victim, they are experts. This is why they are in that level. This is why they can get kids 18, 20, people at 40, kids at 8 years old, they are already in prostitution. In a program that I saw a few years ago, a baby 3 years old was in prostitution. And okay, manipulation, that is something more important here. Sorry, Jessica, I'm getting too excited about this.
You're fine. Manipulation is about gaining trust. So while looking for the role they can play in the victim's life, traffickers work to obtain trust from the victim. Casual conversations over weeks or sometimes over months. Traffickers also send their current victims to interact with potential victims in order to gain the trust. These girls essentially act as scouts for the trafficker. So the ones that are already in there, the women, then they try to get them to convince the new women.
In this situation with this problem that is right now in one of the persons that is supposed to be involved with Epstein, they said that the victim was asked if she brings more, more slaves, they were gonna get money. So that was another incentive. And apparently one of the situation was that, well, if I bring 5, then they will not gonna ask me for more to me, because I'm safe now. Because now instead of me is 5 more there.
Right.
So, okay, and then the dependency.
Dependency is filling a need. So the traffickers utilize the information they gathered to fill a role for the victim. Through gifts, love, friendship, drugs, alcohol, traffickers force the victims into a dependent relationship.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then trapping the victim. This is about forced isolation. With their new role in the victim's life, traffickers wedge themselves between the victim and those closest to them, such as their friends or family. So they kind of isolate friends and family from them.
So doesn't have any support.
Right.
Of course.
And then abusive behavior is about maintaining control. So the traffickers claim to service they offered must be repaid, providing drugs, alcohol, car rides, cell phones, for instance. They typically demand sex as payment, and then starts threats, violence, fear, blackmail, and traffickers maintain full control of the victim. So once they trap them, then it's the control and
it's interesting. Last week or the week before, I made a program at abusive, what is the name? Abusive behavior, domestic violence, and it's the same pattern. And for sexual in kids, the same pattern. It's just, yeah.
So it is happening everywhere. And here are some stats. In 2018, the U.S. National Human Trafficking Hotline delivered these stats. You guys could read them. Survivors identified.
And these are the statistics based on the people that call.
And reported. Yes. Only the ones that they know of or that have been reported, which many are not reported.
Sure.
And then human trafficking is happening in the United States. Just kind of want to remind everyone, just because sometimes we think it's only in other countries, but it's everywhere. And as far as California and the Bay Area, where we are, one of the number one city in California is Sacramento, which is our capital city, and followed by Oakland, San Francisco, Fresno, San Bernardino, Chula Vista, and Fremont. So,
and it's unbelievable. This is shocking to me because I didn't know that you know, in all the California, I live around 5 of the most problematic cities for this one. It's very interesting and sad.
Yeah. And then this shows, compared to California, the lighter color is California and the darker color is the Central Valley where we are, where Tracy's located in San Joaquin. And so it just kind of shows a comparison that we have a high percentage in this area compared to the whole state.
We have half.
Yes. Combining forced and or combining labor and sex. And then California was made a crime. Human trafficking was made a crime in California until 2006. That was pretty surprising to me as well, because I mean, so many years, this isn't something new, and until 2006, they finally passed the legislative bill. And they formed 2 different associations, like 2 assistant programs for California. So these are the 2 assistant programs here.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Let me ask you something. What is the next slide, please?
The next slide? Oh, it's just about us.
Okay. Why a person or how a person decide to get out, pick up the phone and call you? Not call you, but call the hotline or your organization. What happened?
You know, I think it's until the person just has had enough. You know, they just really do want to make a change in their life. They're not scared anymore. They can ask for help. Every situation's different. But even with domestic violence or human trafficking, it's just once they're ready and that's it, they've had enough, they'll make that change.
But it's nothing that you as an organization or that is other than I have enough, I have to get out of here.
No, nothing. Like what? Like
No, another reason. For example, I do remember, and again, I'm talking here to parents that have children. You must remember, 12 to 14, they are the ages, and they normally is detected to get into these kind of situations. We didn't
say lack of love is the main reason why they can be potential victims. If they feel like they're not receiving from their home what they need, they can easily fall into being trafficked.
And the person that brings them into traffic, they don't love them. It's clear. They make them feel that they love them. Right. And that is the manipulation, and then that is the isolation. I am the only one for you, not your parents. Don't tell your parents. Don't tell your friends. Don't go to parties. Don't go to blah 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 blah, because they basically made them feel like they love them, which is not right. Because what is love? Something that I basically says is, how do we expect a girl or a boy not to get into that kind of people if we don't offer them a safe environment in their home? For me, safe is that they can be them, meaning we ask them to be perfect. We ask them to clean their homes, their bedrooms. We ask them not to make mistakes. We ask them not to have pimples in their face, not to shower. I'm not saying not to do things. This please don't misunderstand. My kids shower every day, but it's not an issue. It's acceptance. It's if you have a son with acne at 14, at 18, everybody has acne at 14 and at 18. Please, it's a pimple. There are pimples, that's it. If he or she is not bothered by that, don't bother them, accept them, because parents is acceptance to their children no matter what. If try to talk to your kids is another way to avoid this. Try to talk to your kids in the way and teach them what to do if they are in a situation that they need the support. For example, it's a case in Texas. A child was stolen by from their home, from her home in the night by, of course, an abuser. And she was told, but the couple, because the guy stole her, but he was married. So the couple have this woman as captive for 2 years. They didn't kill her. This is why she came to the light, and thank goodness she's making her beautiful life again. But she was told that if she ever say anything, her parents were gonna be killed. So she was in supermarket, she was in the streets, she was everywhere. That of course they couldn't recognize her, but she never say, even a policeman came to her and says, do you need help? Because he kind of recognizing she could be that woman, that girl. And she said, no, I am fine. I am with my parents. Oh, so because of the fear that her parents were killed. And get me wrong, Jessica, but when a child, first of all, when a child is reported as stolen, the police already protecting the parents. The police they are already protecting the parents and the because they don't know if it's what is the next victim. So it's not a risk, at least as I know, that the parents can be killed by this person because they are already protected. They are already in communication with policemen. And the second one is the predator doesn't go after the parents because he knows that they are already protected because they are looking for the child.
Right.
So this is only information to get the victim to manipulate it, to control. So teach your kids that if ever happen to them anything, don't be specific because you don't want to scare them. Tell them what to do. You need to say to the first person that you have in front of you to help you. And if they told you that they were gonna kill us, don't worry because we will be looking for you and the policemen will be with us all the time. So make that as a fact because your kid, every single child, and more right now, Jessica, because more parents are very worried about the situation. They are confronting economic harsh right now. They are desperate. We are looking at your husband every single minute and every single day when before we don't see them just in the morning, bye, and in the afternoon, welcome, right? But now it's like every single minute we see them. And not a lot of people is managing correctly this. Everybody, many people is abusing the other one. Many people is abusing their kids because the stress. So anyway, I know, Jessica, you and I, we want to save everybody with this program, right? And maybe we do. If we do one, that will be enough for you and me.
Yes.
Okay, next one.
Okay. So this is just a little bit about us. If you wanted to learn a little bit more, here's our website. We have our helpline, 209-259-5552, where if you had any questions or you just wanted some information
Okay.
as well, you can reach out to us.
Okay, perfect. And the helpline is in the cellular that is on the right
Yes.
bottom, because when you were reading
Yes.
in the other one, I was saying, this is not the telephone that I see. Okay, perfect.
And then also you can follow us on social media.
Okay,
We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
okay.
And then here are some resources, national resources. We have the National Human Trafficking Hotline and Domestic Violence Hotline. Also 211. It's not only for our county, it's for many counties and states now have 211.
Okay. Another thing that I just remember, and we need to talk about it very briefly, is I know most of the people that speak English probably has documents, but I also know that many people in English and hopefully can see us in other cultures don't know that even if they don't have documents, at least here in the United States, you will have help.
Oh yeah, definitely. You don't have to have documents to have help, exactly.
Okay.
And we don't report as well if they're worried about deportation or anything like that. We don't report anything. Everything's confidential.
Actually, there are many laws that even when you are in this situation, you actually can get your
Right.
path to
You
documents.
can apply for a visa. It's the VAWA. It's for victims, or the U visa, which is for victims of domestic violence.
Yes.
You can get protection as well.
Yes. So reach out to them. They are confidential. This is what they do. They know more than me, of course. Jessica is trained to deal with these situations. You have the 800 number. You have the 211 in most of the states and counties and cities. So just dial. Go to the library and start learning there a little bit more if you are afraid of communicating fast. But yeah, consider to get help. And parents, it is important that you don't treat your kids bad. And the reason why I'm saying that is, how do you want them to differentiate the treatment of one bad person than your parents? If you treat your kids with, you are you are the worst in the world, you better never being born. So how, if you teach them that in your home, which is the person that has to protect that child and love it with no limitations, how do you can expect that the child says the person that is treating me bad is bad if it's the same person that is inside your house?
Also, trying not to repeat the cycle. A lot of what, when you learn as a child, then when you become an adult, you repeat that abuse with your significant other or your children. So that's kind of where we want to put an end, helping our children not become abusive or
Yes, thank you
or
so much. Yes, that is very, very true. Thank you so much, Jessica. Jessica, I think with this we finish, right? Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. You must remember that tomorrow we have this program in Spanish. If you have people that would like to listen in that language, please join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you to Chase of Hope, and a wonderful help and environment that you are offering to all these victims. Thank you so much.
Thank you.